of all, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I appreciate we're all busy. So I do, I love the fact so many people have signed up, which is wonderful. So today I'm going to talk about, are you keeping score? Or do you know the score? I seem to call this workshop two different things over all of my marketing materials. So I'm keeping with, are you keeping score? And so this is a workshop that I'm doing part of my Build a Better Business series. The first workshop I did, which I know quite a lot of you attended back in February, which was Build a Better Business in 90 minutes. And there I went through the things that you could do that were working on your business that would help you move your business forward, as opposed to working in your business and just doing the day-to-day stuff that we often get bogged down with. So I'm hoping that there's, throughout the course of the series, there's a theme and all these things will come together and actually will be helpful to you. So, but who am I? Not everybody knows me on this call. I do know a lot of you. So I'm Angela. I run a company called SE Magazines, and I have here, as you can see, 3 magazines that I produce every single month. They're the May issues, which I've just gone to print with, and I print 15,000 copies every month. And I've been in business for 16 years now. So yeah, I really do understand what it takes to run a business, you know, month in, month out, producing magazines through COVID, through all the issues that have happened, through recessions. So yeah, I've got a really good grip of how business is run. And then recently, the thing that I've been doing, which is quite new, which is my coaching. So last year I trained with Entrepreneurs Circle and I'm now one of their certified coaches. And that is what I'm coached to do, is to go through the entrepreneur's marketing and sales system. So some of the things that I will be talking about today are part of that. And I'm just bringing it to you in a way that is the way I see it. So hopefully maybe a little bit sort of straightforward. So what can we expect in the next hour? Could be shorter, let's see how I get on. So I'm hoping that we will understand the importance of keeping score. We'll know the numbers that we should be tracking, and we'll appreciate how much a customer is worth. Because, as Warren Buffett says, if you can't read the scoreboard, you don't know the score. If you don't know the score, you can't tell the winners from the losers. So particularly in the world we live in at the moment, where, you know, sports days, nobody wins, nobody loses. I believe there is, you know, we have a point when in our business something happens that makes us happy. We've achieved a certain level of sales. We've made a profit. We do need to know what these things are. So the dual role of measurement here focuses our attention on what's important. As we all know, that as soon as you bring something to the forefront of your mind, you can just seem to get on with something. Everything else sort of seems to fall away. So if we know that we're looking at, you know, how many pages we sold in advertising, or how many people have booked an appointment to have their feet checked, we start to focus. That's exactly the number that we need to look at, and we can start working out how those numbers are made and what goes behind them. So we need to monitor the performance so we can ensure that we can improve them and to improve our success. So we all know that we get so bogged down with the day-to-day. We're busy, sometimes busy being busy, but we need to make sure that these are key and that we understand them and that we absolutely do monitor them. So what should we be measuring? What's important in your business? How do you monitor your performance? So, you know, for me, I have obviously a couple of businesses and I'm working with other businesses now. So for me, my main measurement in the magazine business is how many pages I sold. You know, it is literally the main thing, with revenue too. Because obviously, if I was selling all those pages at half price, that wouldn't be a good thing. So you need to have that tied together. But in my business, as I know I've got lots of other magazine owners on the call today, You know, if I don't sell the right amount of advertising, then my magazine size is affected. And some of us have the ability to be able to go up and down in size. So if I don't sell the target of advertising for, say, a 44-page magazine, then I can reduce it. But if I'm not monitoring that, I could go ahead with the 44-page magazine and then realise afterwards that the figures don't measure up. I mean, it would be pretty hard for me not to spot that one, but that's kind of just illustrating that if you know it ahead of time, you've got a chance to do something about it. So wait for the big spreadsheet coming up. Oh. So I am not going to go through all these, you'll be glad to hear. And I do have a copy of this. So if anybody is interested in receiving this as a download, I'm very happy to send it to you. But I would love, if anyone is interested, is to book maybe a 20-minute call and I'll talk you through it, because it can look a bit scary and you can be thinking like, oh my God, I don't need all these and what's this all about? But I'm just going to go through sort of briefly some of the things here that are useful to know, but then I will give you a bit more of a simplified version. And I'm not simplifying it saying because you don't understand it and you can't cope with it, but because if you were looking at this every single day, you'd soon get put off. You need to have smaller measures that you can be looking at quickly that can actually get you going with your business. And getting bogged down with all this isn't really what I'm trying to get you to do. So as you can see here, we're looking at things like your leads, prospect conversion, so how many of those leads are converting, customer conversion rate, number of sales, new clients. We've got all sorts of, you know, this is for a subscription-based business, so not relevant for everybody. And obviously you've got the ones that we all recognise, which is total revenue, gross profit, net profit. And then as it says here, you know, you can change these. You can change something by 1% and it can make a big difference if you've got your figures right. So as I say, this is a download that I can give to you. Don't get too worried about now, because as I say, don't panic. It's not going to be all boring numbers like that. So this is the main thing. This is how Nigel, who runs Entrepreneur Circle, mentions this to us. And I think it's quite a nice idea. Is first of all, imagine you're on a desert island. So that's lovely, isn't it? And imagine you've got no phone and email. Now that might make you panic, or it might make you think that's absolutely lovely. But if you were there and you're a business owner, all you're going to get is a single piece of paper delivered to you every week with a handful of notes. These numbers must allow you to have an absolute pulse on your business. So what should they be? So apart from the fact that the thought of being sat on that island right now sounds like bliss, if I was sat there and someone was delivering the figures for me, what would they be? So it could be how many pages I've sold in my magazines, simple one. It could be how many people have booked a meal in my restaurant, how many people have booked an appointment, you know, how many people have bought a widget, whatever your measurements might be. So scorecard, rule of thumb. Weekly activity is far better. You could be doing, there's no point in looking at this every month. You're not going to get the opportunity to actually see what the information can give you if you wait a whole month. You need to be doing these things on a weekly activity. So again, as I say, looking at what you've sold, how many emails you've sent out, what sort of response you've had, those kind of things. Then if you construct it well, it should let you know about problems before they actually happen. So if you've got targets set, for instance, and you're getting to the end of each week and you've not met that target, then you've got a chance to have a look at what's going on before you get to the following week, and potentially you don't meet your target again. So instead of waiting like 1 month and find out you're behind on everything, you've already got a measure of this. So the point is that it actually is a red flag, and it makes sure that you know where you're up to with your business and that you don't actually miss these pointers. So you're not going to get it right straight away. Excuse me, that's water. You're never going to get it bang on, but it takes time. But the point is to start something so you can actually start keeping track. So one of the things that we do as a coach is this marketing tracker, which looks really fancy and everything, but it is literally just a spreadsheet. And down the left-hand side, it's looking at the sort of marketing that you might be doing. So again, as you know, a business might be doing Google Ads. They have organic website traffic. Some businesses have walk-ins, referrals, really, really key one there. Keeping track of actually how many referrals you are getting. It's really important. And who is referring you, because that is an opportunity you've got to potentially reward those people and make sure they keep doing that. Facebook ads, so many people are using Facebook ads at the moment, but it's really key that you understand how they're performing and what you're spending and tracking whether they're working for you. Because I've heard, you know, some pretty scary stories of people dropping quite considerable amount of money and not really being sure what they're getting for it. So, you know, that's again another thing you should be tracking. People are using LinkedIn, YouTube, very popular these days, Instagram, leaflet drops, which I know a lot of my co-magazine owners offer, and magazines, of course. So these are the kind of things that a business would be tracking and actually putting in the numbers this is daily, every day, of what they're actually getting. And then that will go on then to looking at your cost per lead. So this is one of the things that I've said, that it's just really, really important that you understand how this works in your business. Because I had this discussion actually with a new client of mine who works with companies that quite often sign up for 3 to 5 years contracts, and they're worth thousands and thousands of pounds when you look at it built that way. So that gives you a really, you know, it gives you really important information. If you've got a client that could be worth 10, 20,000 to you over a 5-year period, what would you be prepared to spend to actually get them? Now, a lot more than if you were selling, you know, a £10 book. You know, it's just looking at the different things. So here, this is showing that someone spent £345 on Google Ads. They got 62 leads. So that's just the lead. The information has come to you. Somebody has said they're interested. So that's cost you £6 to get a lead. But out of that, they've then got 6 sales. So you then divide the 6 into the 3, 4, 5, and it's cost you £58. Now, we don't know if that's good or bad, because we need to know what they're selling. So, you know, for me, that actually, if I got a sale and, you know, say a page in my magazine cost £230, you know, that could well be worth me paying £58 for it, because that person might stay with me for a year, 2 years. So it's all about putting it into perspective with your business. But the key is actually understanding what it means. So things like obviously organic traffic on your website, walk-ins, there's no cost that you can really sort of devise, but you can when you do a leaflet drop. If you take an ad out in a magazine like mine, you should be able to measure that. So simple things like actually using a tracking number on a leaflet or a magazine, or even on your website, are quite useful, because you can at least tell for certain how many people have called using that number. Whether you answer the phone and then actually turn them into a client is like the next stage. So what could you be measuring? So what weekly measures should be on your scorecard? So for instance, if you were an IFA or a coach like me, discovery calls are a really big thing. So for me to get a client, I absolutely need to have spoken to them first. Nobody ever just sends you an email and says, hey, I'd like to book and get monthly coaching from you. Likewise, an IFA, you're never going to say, please look after my finances, look at my pension. You're not going to do any of that without having spoken to that person. So the key measurement there is the amount of calls they make. you then would be looking at how many clients you would get from that. So net new clients, because you obviously always will be losing some. And then you'd be looking at what you're spending on your marketing to get that. So that's, again, key. If you're spending lots and lots of money, but you're not getting enough of these discovery calls, that's really important to know. And then your monthly revenue. So what are you actually making from that? So that effectively is, you can have a financial scorecard. So just going through the things that I said, so weekly revenue, number of new inquiries. If you're in the sort of business that you've got to send out a proposal or a quote. So we had a painter and decorator here yesterday. We are hopeful we will get a quote from him. So he was quoting for someone else. So, he would be looking at how many people does he have to go and visit, because he can't do a quote without seeing the work you want. Then he's got to do the quote, and then how many of those people will accept that quote. So, for instance, he might find that for every 2 quotes he does, he gets a client. So then that begins to, to set his targets. So he starts to understand that he needs to get 2 for every 1 client, and that is important information to know. But you could also have a diary scorecard, which is the one that I've got here, which is from an IFA that I know. And he's an EC member as well. Now, as I said, he needs to see people. He is not going to get any business without either meeting or talking to people. So he has got a diary scorecard. So as you see, in the morning, every morning, he spends his important time, the time when he feels sort of more alive, working on his business. So going through all the things that I mentioned in Build a Better Business in 90 minutes, the things working on your business, which include working on that killer email that you might be sending out to your prospects, giving them information, helping them, but also letting them know about what you're doing in your business. Making sure your website's up to date, writing the copy for a leaflet, all the things that are moving your business forward, not the actual doing. So, for instance, the decorator, this is not him painting the wall. This is him working out how he's going to get more clients. So this IFA, he needs the meetings. So he has 2 meetings booked in his diary every day, Monday to Thursday, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. He works with a VA. And so when he gets inquiries, she is the one that will go and phone these people and get these meetings booked in. So his scorecard, he looks immediately at that at the beginning of the week. And if he hasn't got those 8 meetings booked in, he knows that he's unlikely to reach the target of new clients that he wants. So it just shows you, it's a very clear indication. And you might wonder what happens on a Friday afternoon. Well, if he's got his 8 meetings in, he does a bit of gardening and he enjoys a glass of wine. So I quite like that idea myself. Maybe just the wine, but we'll see. Here's another scorecard. This is from the photographer. And again, this is an actual scorecard that we've seen used as an EC member. And he looks at how many shoots he's got booked. Now, this is the kind where this was pre-COVID days, in fact, although the date's the same last year. He had a studio, or has a studio, and it's where people come and do those sort of, I don't know what they're called, boudoir type bookings, where you come and you get sort of dressed up and stuff. I've never had one done, but anyway, so if they get a lot of people who book them. And I think that they are, I think there's an element where it's a free shoot and then you pay for the actual photographs. So the show up rate is actually key for them, because apparently people book and don't show up, which, how rude. Then the average transaction rate, and then the total revenue. So they're the key things. He's got a capacity of 50. So he obviously wants to be booking 50 shoots every week. And, initially he was doing pretty well, but it's obviously going further down. He's not got as many booked in, in advance. So again, it's everything, everybody's got something different that they need to look at. So it's about you working out what's important in your business and what you feel you need to sort of keep an eye on. And what is success to you? It doesn't all have to be financial. So the rule of 3, I like a rule of 3. Yeah, oh gosh, now it's just gone quickly. So step one, get clear on the small number of measures that will determine your success. So is it pages sold in your magazine? Is it meetings booked? Is it widgets sold? Is it people who've booked in your restaurant? All those kind of things. Step two, fundamental components, inputs and outputs. So that sounds fancy, doesn't it? But all that means is your inputs of what are you doing? So how many emails have you sent? How many meetings or appointments have you made? How many quotes and proposals have you sent out? How many telephone calls have you made? I know that one of our co-magazine owners, Raj, he's got a sales team, and they call them dials, and it's 100 dials a day. They just have, they know their numbers, they understand what they need to do to get the level of sales that they need to run their business. They've got 14 magazines. So that's key. If they didn't know it takes 100 dials to get the amount, they won't speak to 100 people in a day. It's about how many people they've just tried to make that contact with. So then your outputs are what you got from that. So how many new customers have you got? How many reviews? Again, another really important thing to monitor is reviews, and be systematic about getting them as well. How many orders are in your order book? How many total clients? So it's looking at, if I send, one of the things that I do every single month, probably a couple of times, is I send an email out to my list, hopefully not pushy, just saying I'm here, I'm working on the next magazines, these are the deadlines. I often put in there if there's some premium pages available, and just to give people some idea, because it's my business to remind people to do business with me. It is not theirs. So I do that, but what I measure then is, what do I get from that? So if I send this email out every month or twice a month and I get literally nobody coming back to me, then that's a sign, surely, to say either the people on my list are not the right people for me, but most of those have signed up in some format. Maybe it's just not the right time for them, or maybe my messaging is wrong. But what it does and should do is tell you something, and that means you need to have a look at that and see if you can change that. I always get business from my email list, and I actually spoke to another magazine the other day, and he said, oh, I get nothing from mine. So it is about how you do it. So and then the third step is set up a physical printed scorecard to record your performance. So again, if you looked at my office now, I've got stuff all around me, I have things written down. I think it's really important to have, just literally a sheet of paper, a piece of card, whatever you feels right for you, but have it there, have it visible. Don't have it stored away in an Excel spreadsheet. By all means, record it into that, so you've got that sort of history, so you can go back and check these things. But keep it out, just keep it really simple. So as soon as you get that, you've made that call, tick it. The old-fashioned system, 4 strikes and then the 5th one. I do that a lot still with things, just to keep you just an idea. So it's very well worth doing. And then when in doubt, get the calculator out. So I absolutely love going through my numbers. I used to be a finance director in another life, so I appreciate not everybody loves numbers like I do. But these are the key figures. So 2 numbers every business owner should know. So what does it cost you to acquire a customer, and how much is a customer worth? So I think the thing we probably are more likely to know is how much it's costing to acquire, but we don't necessarily think about how much that customer could be worth, which then can affect how much we'd be prepared to spend to get a customer. So I'll just go back through that again. So some businesses, if you are head of kitchen showroom, you are probably dealing with a new customer every time. You might get someone that comes back 10 years later and has moved and wants a new, but you generally would be expecting that every person is brand new. Now that's difficult, that is hard, because you're having to do all that work every time to get a customer. However, the spend is much higher. So I don't know, new kitchen, 15, 20,000 pounds, more, less. But what would you be willing to spend for that? That's very, very different to what I know we've got Michelle on the call today, who's a podiatrist. Now, how much does it cost to go and see a podiatrist? I actually don't know, but say it's £50 for a visit or £60. Her marketing spend is going to be a lot less. But then a customer for her may then come back maybe every couple of years to have a bit of maintenance on their feet. So that's a factor for her. So it's looking at all those things as a magazine owner. You know, if once I've got a customer in, quite often, I mean, 16 years down the line, I've got some people who've been in every single issue. So if you think, what did I do at the very beginning? And then look at how much that customer's been worth, that's quite amazing. But what you can just do is look at how much is your average customer worth to you. So very simple, how many customers you got and what's your revenue, and divide it. It doesn't matter, you might have some who are big customers or small, get an average rate and do this sort of over the lifetime, or if you know that, or over the next couple of years, say 2 to 3 years. And then how much would you get paid to get one of these customers? Because I think it's something that we don't often think like that. We all possibly think of marketing, we don't want to spend too much, or we can't afford it. But when I know that I say this to a lot of my customers, is if something is working for you and you've measured it and you know what that value is, keep doing it. You know, if you are spending money on leaflets and you every time you drop them, you get business, and as long as you know that that business is worth it for you, I'd just be doing more and more of the same. And that's what some people do. They try something, it may or may not work, but they don't really know because they've not tracked it properly, and then they stop and they go on to something else. So it's really important, you know, if you're serious about your business, to do these things. Then understanding how many leads you need to get a customer, because, you know, I know for today, you know, I've got 50 odd people who register to come on a workshop and about 25 turn up. Now, apparently that's a really good rate. However, you know, if this is the thing you need to sort of understand, if you think every time you're in contact with someone, they are going to become a customer, then, you know, we all know it doesn't work like that. So work out what is your ratio. And I have got a marketing spend calculator download here if anyone is interested in it. This information then gives you the power to understand how much you'd be willing to spend. So, as I say, if you know that your average customer is spending £500 with you, would it be worth spending £100? Well, yeah, because you're getting £400 back, you know, assuming your business is profitable. So it's understanding all that and going through the numbers. So track everything. It's so important. I've said this in my last workshop and I will say it again. It's really key that you understand, you know, how many leads you're getting, where you're getting them from, how much they're costing you, what is the return on investment. You know, there's just no point in spending money, you know, unless with advertising particularly. Sorry, I know I talk a lot about that, but that is where I know most about, is that, you know, some people put adverts in magazines because they just want to have to be seen. They're just looking for brand awareness. So that's fine. That's understanding the reason you're doing it. But if you're doing it because I've got a new business opening next month, they've put an advert in specifically to get people to join up for their membership. So they've done an offer, a great call to action, which is, you know, book, get onto our membership list by the end of May for 50% off. So it's a really compelling offer. Now they should be able to measure this and work out if this advert has worked well for them, because they've actually put in place, they've sort of understood what they want to get from it. They want people to join. They're willing to give them a really good discount. So they've done that, and I'll be interested to see what happens with that. But they need to track it. So I obviously suggested they make sure they put an option to say, where did you hear about us? One of the things that I found with some of the businesses using leaflets is having the tracking numbers, because you, as we all know, we often phone trades and ask for quotes and we don't get an answer. So I sometimes have people saying, well, I took an ad in your magazine and I didn't get a response. And it's like, yeah, but when I phoned you to check about if you want to book in, you didn't answer the phone. How do you know the difference? You know, maybe they've got my name springing up, don't speak to her, I don't know. But the thing is, if you're not answering your phone, you might be missing that. But a tracking number will tell you how many people phoned that actual number. So they're incredibly cheap to have. And I think it's something that I recommend to people who are doing any sort of form of advertising. You can even have them on your website, because most people don't seem to, they keep numbers stored in phones. They go to your website to check your number and just click on it from there. So it doesn't matter if you have different numbers. So it's just worth tracking everything. So I've been racing through here. So I'm going to sort of summarize everything. And it's really quick, so there's plenty of time for questions, but I've got a few other things I just wanted to tell you as well. So in summary, as you can probably tell, it's just keep tracking everything. Keep a note of what you're doing. If you want to sell a magazine 20 pages, keep an eye on it. Make sure you're doing the things that you need to do to get those 20 pages, and don't start the day before your deadline. Have things in place, work out is what's working. So, you know, I've found that email marketing is brilliant for my magazine business. It is not the way I'm going to get clients for my coaching business. That is a very different proposition, and I'm really enjoying the differences and actually working with another coach, in fact, and I'm working with a sort of big HR company who outsource HR to lots of small businesses. It's great. I love understanding all the different things that matter to these businesses. So get your scorecard, work out what you need on yours. What's a success? It could be that, you know, every day that you only work 4 hours is your success, because you've got lots of other things to do. It isn't just about making money, it's about what your success is. And just keep track. So if you need a certain amount of meetings, certain amount of paid advertising, certain amount of people booked into your restaurant, keep looking at these things, and in some cases daily, and have targets, because if you haven't got a target, it's well known that if you've not got targets written down, you've got nothing to aim for. So how are you going to know whether you're getting where you want to go or not? So that is in summary. I've raced through this. First time I've done this one, so I think I've been a bit like, oh, a bit more, you know, racing through all the information. But what I wanted to just say is that I am, I've got a few downloads of the things that I've just talked about, but also, moving on, I am running my Build a Better Business in 90 Minutes workshop again on Friday, the 14th of May. And that is going to be, anyone who came on the first one, obviously, very welcome to come along again if you want to. If you know anyone who you think might be interested, just let me know. And that is very much about working on your business and understanding how you can carve out those 90 minutes each day. I do mine in my 2 45-minute chunks to work on your business, because what I hear all the time, literally all the time, is there's not enough hours in the day, I'm too busy. And I've been recently reading a book called 168 Hours. And guess what? That's what we've all got every single week. I've got it, you've got it, Boris Johnson's got it, you know, everybody. And it's what we look and how we prioritize our time. So I've noticed I've been looking at this in the last couple of weeks, and I might be in my office all day and feel like I've been really, really busy. But then I'll notice that I've done a nice little phone call with another coach to have a chat about something. I've had a half-hour chat with a business owner about their business and their marketing and to do with the magazines. And when you start looking at it, you think, like, how much of that was actual work, and how much of it is maybe sort of a bit of relationship building. Sometimes it could be speaking to my sister or my brother, and sometimes it could be just sort of having a moan about something with my partner. So you can look at what you're doing every day, think you're really, really busy, but if you're not monitoring what you're doing and building in these time to actually work on your business, you can get swamped and stuck in the weeds of just doing the do. You know, we've all got big to-do lists. There's always something. I mean, I always have something that I could be doing, but whether it's actually the thing that I really should be doing is another question. So on the back of that, at the end of that workshop, I will be launching my Build a Better Business Bootcamp. So I'll have more details about that at the end of that workshop. But that's really, if anybody's interested in really trying to push forward with this and carving out that time and working on the business, I've got some really great tools. I'm going to be doing more workshops and implementation sessions, and really want to help as many people push forward with that. So that's really, I'm really excited about that. Then finally, I've got, for the first 5 people who are interested, I've got 5 copies of my book, which I'm very happy. I can see someone looking in at the screen. I'm very happy to post out for free, and it's all about the entrepreneur's marketing and sales system. And you know, it's not, you know, it's a really good read, and there's some really helpful things that any of you who've got a business can actually utilize and put into practice sort of straight away. It is the basis of what I do the coaching on, but you don't need the coaching, you can do it yourself. So it's just something that I'd like to offer. So having raced through those, I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm going to get some lovely people's faces on, and I'm going to have a quick look at the chat. And oh yes, I've got some yes pleases, which is really nice. So I'm going to make a note. Oh, right, okay. And I'd love, is there anybody, has anybody got any, oh, I've got more than 5, so I might be generous and send a few more out. So I'm going to keep that. Has anyone got any questions? Is there anything that I've spoken about that you're unclear, or that you would interested in a further chat on? Oh, Jan, do you want to unmute yourself?
Just the step 2, can you repeat that, because I missed the wording when I was trying to jot it down.
Step 2. Let me just quickly go.
Are you going to let us have the worksheets like you did?
I will do. If anyone would like a copy of the slides,
yes,
you'd be very welcome. So again, I mean, what I might do, just because it makes it easy, so you don't all have to quickly go and sort of bash into the chat, I will send these out to everyone today, because you know, there's just, even just to have a prompt, I think sometimes, I know that I find that useful from some of the things that I've gone on. I just to go back, I've written things and then I've just forgotten a particular thing. So I'm very happy to send the slides. I'll send a link, so you know, if you don't want them, you don't have to have them. Has that been helpful? Has there been some things that you've sort of taken away from that? Have I missed the point? Is there anything that I've not covered that anybody thought they were going to get covered? Do you know, it's what I found really interesting between this and the last workshop is that I think people are, well, I'm not saying not interested in the figures or the numbers, but are more wary of looking at these things. And I think that's why I really want to try to put some simple things in place for the people that are a bit averse to numbers. It's not, we all need to have this information, but maybe we've got an accountant that's dealing with stuff for us. But the thing is, we know the accountant generally does their stuff once a year, and it's too late. You know, it's just too late if that is the only time that we're really getting some meaningful numbers. And even if your business is a side hustle, you know, my younger sister Em is, she couldn't be here today, she's getting her hair done. Can you believe she's putting her hair ahead of this? Yes, I can, I would have done. She's working as a body shop consultant. You know, it's her side hustle. She works mainly full time, but she's putting into practice straight away. She's understanding having too much stock and how she's got to sell, and it's just a really good practice. And the one that I'm really pleased about, I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago with my oldest friend. I've known Helen since we were 4 and at school together, and her eldest daughter is 22 and is just about to graduate from uni. She's a drama student, and we had a chat last week, and she's been doing tutoring to help her get through uni, and she's up in Manchester, where I'm from. and she phoned because she just wanted to understand what she should be putting. She's already got a separate business account. It's not a limited company, clearly, but she's already had that mindset, like, what should I be doing? How do I do this? Make sure it's separate. And it was just like speaking to me. I was so delighted that a young girl, is getting into that mindset straight away. And I said, you know, whatever you do, this will be just a great way of doing things, because it's just such a good discipline. And it really helps if you understand, you know, if you've got a business, even if it isn't a limited company, have a separate account. You can get these, Livy's got a Monzo account, but I've got Starling. You can have separate pots, and you can think, you know, put your tax away and get really good with these things. So yeah, so embrace the numbers, but the scorecard system, it's just about making sure, you know, I mentioned Raj there, you know, your ability to understand how many dials you need per person per day drives your business forward. Because if you didn't know that, you've not got something to tell your lovely ladies to aim for, and you won't get it. I mean, it's simple, isn't it? But sometimes I think the simplest things are the things that people miss. So yeah, so that's what I think. And I've got to say, I will do a oh, hang on, I've got a thing here. Oh, lovely, Caroline is on today. And Caroline was the lady that I was mentioning who's got a new business opening in Dulwich next month. And I'm just going to give her a little plug, because I absolutely love what she's doing. Her business is called Peace and Riot, and it is a eat, drink workspace for parents. And what they have, I think I'm getting this right, Caroline, but you go and you can work and you can take your children, and they have sort of like effectively like home helps around who will keep an eye on the children and make sure everything's right. It's not a creche. You don't go and dump your child off and go off and work, but it's an environment that is family friendly, and it's for parents. And I just think it's great, and I love that name. So I wish her lots and lots of luck. And I will get back to you, Caroline, because I think you're saying, how can you measure leads when your purchase might be in real life and walk in? Yeah, there's quite a bit there, and I think I will come to you separately on that. Nikki, I'm one of those nervous about, confused about numbers. So any simple methods and measures for tracking success are greatly appreciated. Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. Oh, that's nice. All the best, Caroline. So yeah, so that's what I say. Don't fear the numbers. Find the things that work for you, and keep track. And then you actually will have an opportunity to see, you know, I always say this to my clients, if you take out an ad in my magazine and you're not measuring how successful it is, so unless you just love having your name out there, then I want you to come back and say, in fact, a lovely lady today, she might watch this on catch up, Tessa, she runs a garden design company. And she emailed me last night and said, really sorry, I can't make it to the workshop, Angela. I'm busy planting a garden that I got from your magazine, from her advert. So I was like, yeah, yes, brilliant. I love that. But that's what I want to know. I want to know that she's got a job from that, because I don't just want her money. I want success for her. That's then success for me. And that's another one. That's why reviews are so important. That to me is a real mark of success, that you get people who will review you. So one of the things, again, I mentioned in my previous workshop is systematically getting reviews from your clients. Do not leave it up to them to maybe say thank you once in a while. Get them to do a review, and better, get them to do a Google review. Send them the link. Make it dead easy for them, because you feed in Google, and it's just a very, very helpful thing. So that's another measure. You might say every week, I want to get a new review or 2 reviews, depending on the size of your business. So again, that is on my scorecard for sure, because it's just really, really helpful. And referrals, it's absolutely brilliant to be looking at them. And I've been recently seeing quite a lot of people who are looking at very nice ways of rewarding people who refer them. Some are doing it as a surprise, which I quite like that idea, and some are doing it as an actual incentive. But again, you know, if somebody's done the marketing for us, why wouldn't we want to do that? never found a way to do that in the magazines. I don't know if any of the magazine owners have found a way of doing that or think it's worth doing. I've never quite worked it out. So that's something that I will continue to look at, because if it seems like it should be something I should do, I will do. Becky.
There you go. I found that getting reviews is like pulling teeth. Kind of like, can you give me a review? Can you give me a review? Can you give me a review? So many times. So I hit upon something where I sent out a list of 5 bullet points for people to answer.
Yeah.
And from that, I could construct a review from it.
Yeah, good idea.
Leading questions as such.
Yeah.
I'd have to dig them out. Perhaps if I send them on to you, you can send them out to
Yeah,
people.
that would be great. But it's you know, basically you want to lead the witness. You know, and the great time to do a review is, or ask for a review, is when somebody has just said something nice to you. It might not be a review in itself, but or you've just helped somebody. You know, say for us as magazine owners, someone's just booked an ad and we've just, you know, maybe we did some free artwork because theirs wasn't good enough. We tweaked a number. Basically, they are slightly in our debt. So that's a really good time to go and hit them, because, you know, you've got to use every trick you can. You know, we're all busy. I've actually, one of my clients, my coaching clients, they're looking at doing reviews. And when I looked at the letter, the email that was going to be sent out, it was just so long-winded. It's like, they won't have read past the first paragraph. So I said, it's got to be quick. It's got to be this. Can you do me a quick favour? I'd love if you could do a review. Here's the link. That's it. You don't need to say they're wonderful. You know, of course, we know that. And that's the thing. It's just about understanding. You know, if you send something to someone saying, I know you're really busy, but and you keep banging on. Well, you're not really actually appreciating, you know, what that they are busy. Raj, you've got your little hand up there.
Hi, Angela. Great session, by the way. I just wanted to say that when our biggest measurement is actually done daily, and it is done on dials.
Yeah.
We have an 11:15 huddle every day, 15 minutes, and we look at what dials people made the day before, because the number of customers we speak to in our magazine business will determine. It will be determined by the number of dials we make. We only maybe speak to 1 in 4 people. So we'd expect of 100 dials in a day to speak to about 25 people, 25 decision makers. So that's how we measure that. And the other thing we measure, of course, in the sales that we achieved that day, the day before, with the dials that we made. So of course, if we haven't made that many sales, we'd expect that many more dials over the 100. So it just kind of gives, you know, some people here who might be in a similar industry, or at least can measure if they're phone calling out all the time, then that might be a good measurement to use. But we do actually do it daily now, Monday to Friday. We've only put that in the last 6 weeks. We've seen productivity go up.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I mean, I love the fact you are so laser focused on what works for your business, because you know at the end of the day, if you've hit 80 calls and not the 100, and that meant you got, you know, 18 clients and not the 20, you know, it's just key. And the fact is, you do it daily, you are, the red flag is there straight away.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. Jan, you've got your hand up.
One easy way of getting the referrals, when they say something nice about you, is to just say, can I quote you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't even then have to get them to write back to you.
Yeah, no, and I do that. If I get an email which, you know, has said something, I got a lovely one actually after I spoke at Raj's conference the other week. Really lovely email from someone I didn't know, never met before. And, you know, straight away, I'm just thinking, oh, and the nice thing is actually when someone does write to you sort of freely, quite often, you know, they just are brilliant reviews, but they've not thought of it as a review. They're just sending you a nice, you know, nice comment. So absolutely, that's another good way. Even if you're on the phone or you're, you know, you're out, you can video people. You know, there's all sorts you can do. I know videoing is a bit of a, you know, we're not quite there yet, but funny enough, I'm doing a live, I think at 12:45 today with a company that do, they're called Get Video Confident. And they do training about getting yourself in front of video, you know, on Instagram and Facebook. And I did a really good 2-week course with them. and it's just, yeah, just kind of getting over seeing yourself on screen and things like that. But what I find is everything I do, if on the social media front, if my face is on it, I get far more interaction than I do with a picture of a crow, or possibly if I put a cute picture of a cat, that might get more, because animals really work, but I don't have a cat. But it's really interesting, that sort of personal approach. So again, you know, that's another measurement, you know, not how many likes you get for something, but what engagement do you get? You know, did you, you know, we all wonder what we're doing on social media half the time. But if you can actually start going, well, I did that and I know that I got a really good lead from it. These are the things that are, again, another measurement. Everything is just all about looking at what you do, where you spend your time. I always say, if you're investing in it or you're spending time on it, you need to track it. So that's my final point. And actually not so bad, it's 5 to 11. So if there's no other questions, I will go through the chat, I will check who wants the book, and I'll get those. I will obviously let you know, and I'll need to get your address for that, so I will be in touch with you all. And I just really appreciate you spending the time. I know we're all busy. I hope you've had 1 or 2 nuggets of things that have been helpful for you. If you have, feel free to do a review. I should have been really quick here and got my Google link in here, but I don't know whether I'm going to be might very quickly do that while we talk. I'm just going to see if I can. Oh, you should have all these things ready, and I haven't done it, so hang on. Oh, here we go, review links. Oh, I have got it. Well done. So if anyone fancies doing a Google review, there is my little link. And obviously that's my link for me coaching. So feel free to say, if you do want to do one, that you attended a workshop. I'm not trying to pretend these are coaching clients, because, you know, I don't have a lot of coaching clients because I don't want a lot of them. I'm too busy. I prefer to do things like this. So if you've enjoyed it, I'll send some details out. I'll send the slides. As I say, the next workshop is on the 14th of May. It's going to be free again, because what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do with these workshops is just to get help, get my message out there. Hopefully across the course of these, there may be somebody who wants a little bit more help and will reach out, and maybe they think, oh, well, yeah, she seems like she knows what she's talking about. And also it helps me feel the fear and do it anyway, because I was feeling really nervous before this, and now I'll be ready for my cappuccino and my pain au chocolat, which is my celebration after one of these workshops. So I really appreciate you all coming. This has been recorded as well, and you'll have access to that if you want to go back. And yeah, thank you very much, and I hope to all see you again soon. Thank you.